Son shit, y'all ready?
I hope y'all are. This episode, look, this is another one of them joints. We know how we do, man. Here's the wild part. The primaries came after the elections, and it was wild. You know what I'm saying? It really, I don't know. It wasn't even really a debate. It was more like a think tank. You know what I'm saying? They were rarely debating. I think they debated maybe about one thing for sure, and that was abortion. And outside of that, it was more like a think tank. They all came up with some of the similar ideas, or they added on to somebody's idea. And I'm not gonna count the times where they were exposing each other's secrets. That just happens all the time, apparently. There was not a solid debate at this primary joint. It was definitely, we took that L Tuesday. We're gonna try to band together and look strong together and look like we're all on the same page Wednesday. That was really it. They all looked like they were trying to be on the same page Wednesday. It was wild, you know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, I got this I gotta say this piece. I gotta say this right here. For all y'all MCU fans, for all y'all comic book movie dudes, chicks, whatever. I know y'all already all heard it. MCU is getting the band back together, the original 6, and the world is losing their collective minds. They're like, yay, this is a big win. This is the joint, no doubt. Yeah, we on top again. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. All that's cool. I feel y'all. Not really. Let me stop lying. I don't care for real. Here's my thing. Secret Wars comes out. You get these people back. You get Iron Man back. You get Captain America back. You get the band back together. You get Scarlet Witch, Black Widow back. You get all these people back. And then what? What happens after that? This is the thing. That's your redo card. You only get one. You don't get to play this card when the next batch of movies behind Secret Wars doesn't live up to expectations. You don't get to go, let's just bring the squad back again. You've already used that once. Like, that booster is a one-time joint. Y'all gonna use your booster and put the game in and still have these other heroes that you guys supposedly aren't filling to come in and still try to do their thing. What are you gonna do? That's my thing. Like, what happens after that? And you gotta go back. Cause this is the way I'm starting to think it goes. A lot of these fans are so hyped and they're so geared and they're so ready for the X-Men, Fantastic Four and Dr. Doom and them. They're geeked for this. They're eager for all of this to come forth. Now understanding that outside of the original 6, right? Or 6, is it 6? Thor, Cap, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk. Yeah, outside of that 6, Hulk was the only person that actually was really pre-MCU movies famous. Iron Man and Captain America, Thor were not on the same level as anybody in the X-Men, Fantastic Four, or the Incredible Hulk. Definitely not on the same level as Spider-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy were you have to be a real comic book geek to throw that out there. Doctor Strange, nobody was really out here rocking Doctor Strange joints like that for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the thing. That's all they've done. They've still went out here and grabbed little known heroes and were like, yo, we're gonna elevate them. We're gonna put them in the mix. You guys have jumped past all of this and like, let's just get to the X-Men and the stuff we know and all these properties that we're familiar with. And they're still trying to build the thing. Daredevil as a character was far more popular than any of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? So where are we right now? You get this movie, you get those characters, they gotta die again. There's no let's make a whole new round of Iron Man movies and all of that again. You know that's not gonna happen. Something happens, they're gonna have to fade out again, go back to the reality of whatever it is. And we're what? That's the question. What happens then? And I know people are like, well, it'll just be Earth throw a number in the air, Tony. It'll be another Earth throwing it, you know what I'm saying? It'll be multiverse versions. And we'll just follow these dudes. That's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Those actors aren't going to be like, yeah, we're going to be part of this whole thing all over again. Fans are clamoring for them to get back in the mix. You're not hearing them go, man, I really sure do wish I could get some more movies out. Be Iron Man again or Black Widow again. Man, you're not hearing that. That's the fans calling for them to come back, which then means that money gonna have to come. Like, Mickey's gonna have to sell a couple of lungs. You know what I'm saying? Mickey's gonna have to sell his lung, Daffy's lung, Donald's lung, whichever duck is on his team. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have to, you know what I'm saying? Minnie's gonna have to hit the block a little bit. They're gonna have to go out here and do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have to get real. Cinderella, she's gonna have to pawn the slippers. They're gonna have to come up with that money. You know what I'm saying? To even get them to even contemplate on trying to do something else after that one movie. But it also goes to, it's just a weird vibe, right? This whole woke go broke thing. And then again, to me, y'all know how I feel about the concept of go woke, go broke. To me, that means it's just not white and man enough for y'all. Because outside of wow. I guess there really are no, because the Night Moon character isn't even really a white man. So outside, there really aren't any new characters that are quote unquote white men. It's a bunch of women and people of color. So you get that and they're like, nah, we don't want that. We want what we have. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of really what it was. Outside of Black Panther, it was just a bunch of white dudes. And that's not sounding racist. That's not trying to make it about race. That's just a common sense thing. Because at the end of the day, when we think about comic books, that's really what comic books were for so long. White dudes and a couple of chicks here and there. And then you started getting extra writers and people who were like, yo, let's just, diverse the pool a little bit. Some for the shock and awe and trying to catch up with the themes and everything. Others for just off a natural, like, yo, really? I know y'all ain't gonna act like y'all don't notice that this is it right here. We gotta throw something else in the mix. Let's do what we do. And give these heroes proper respect as just men and women. But anyway, before Miles Morales, when people were actually asking about a Black Spider-Man, it wasn't even a shock value thing. It was like they could see that being pulled off. A Black Superman, they could see that being pulled off. There were Black superheroes. Y'all remember they for the actual Christopher Reeves thing, Muhammad Ali was an actual option on the table. Will Smith has been an option on the table as a superhero back in the day, and nobody would have thought twice about it. Damon Wayans was an option to be Robin, and nobody would have thought twice about it. Like now, it becomes a whole different thing because of everything that was going on politically and racially. But back then, it would have just been a boom, mix it. You know what I'm saying? Billy D. Williams was Two-Face. He was Harvey Dent. Nobody questioned it. They liked it. They thought it was cool. Nobody questioned it at all. today's standard, it'd be like, oh my God, how dare they? So we still got there's a whole lot of joints going on when it comes to that. So you'll get your original band back. They have another swan song. And then what? Peter Parker has to become depressed all over again. The MCU, the characters and everybody has to feel that loss all over again. Because that's the thing. That's the aftermath of it, right? Like, you still have to deal with that all over again. I don't know, man. Maybe that's what it is. I'm thinking too far ahead because everybody else just was thinking we need them back and didn't think about what happens after. My bad for being a Debbie Downer. Probably, maybe, surely, could be. Yeah. All right. Anyway, just something to think about when you think about that. But this Republican debate, oh my God. This Republican debate, wow. There's so much that you have to talk about when you talk about this. One, everybody is ultra violent. Or everybody was violent for no reason. War is just on their mind. Taking people out, killing them, destroying them, it's on their mind. Everybody had at least three points, more than three, where destruction was imminent in their minds. And it's just like, yo, how is it that people are, and the crowd's cheering, how is it that we're this? You know what I'm saying? How do you become that? And it becomes a thing where you're just like, yo, who makes this a thing? Like, how did we, I don't know, man. I'm tripping because there's a point where they were talking about China and the Navy. And they're like, they're ready to go to war and they're going to make sure they have the troops. And I'm thinking to myself, it's 2023. Who looks like they're ready for war? Who is actually, and then it hit me, like nobody's ever really actually went out their way to go to war. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they were drafted. Other people joined for various reasons. But the concept of, like, I think only 9/11 was one of the only times people actually went out their way to go, yeah, I'm joining to, as far as in the modern era, to go, yeah, I want to be a part of that. It really wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes you go, how did we get here? They were talking tough, crazy that night. The stuff that they were saying were ridiculous. It was a think tank. They just added on top of. What's the limit? Wamba Wampy. He sets it off even during his little opening joint. Like, what you gotta say? Introduce to the world. He goes in on MSNBC. He was ready for it. This dude, look. I can tell y'all now, he's not gonna make it. It's just not. And you need Nikki Haley. And you need Chris Christie. Because they're the last two actual sane people in the room. That's it. The brother, the black dude, the frog-faced guy, I can't think of his name right now. He's a mess. He is a mess. He was out here throwing Bible joints out all night. Then you got Wampa Dompy. And then you got DeSantis, which they are literally the same person. You know what I'm saying? So you got two extremists, a conservative evangelical extremist, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, who have actually worked within the confines of the White House and have been assigned to do things before. They are about that. Chris Christie, there was a point where they were talking about Muslims and stuff. Chris Christie was like, yo, I was in New Jersey during 9/11. I know how to talk to people. We can't crossed that line. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. I think this whole thing, what I love about America, because America is one of the places that loves to dissect and separate the smallest things. I remember growing up listening to racist people who hated Jews but loved the Hebrews. It didn't take long. It was like 10 or 11 when you're like, hold on, but I'm sorry, what? Because you're reading the Bible when you're at church and you realize the name change. And that's all it takes to love or hate. Same people, name change. Obamacare, Affordable Care Act. Same thing, said different. People will tell you, man, yeah, I'm good with what I got. I just didn't want that Obamacare. But what you got? That Affordable Care Act. All right. And you just got to walk away from them because you're like, all it takes is the name makes it different. It's not even a thing. Watching all of these people claim love for Israel and the Israelis, but still hate Jewish people. It's like, y'all do know all of this is whatever. Fine, cool. Whatever. Do what you do. Our country is built on hate. Our country is built on a weird concept of hate. We think hate all the time. We think hate all the time. I saw a post the other day where they were showing a map of North Africa, and they showed where Israel is, and they were like, they're talking, these people in this area are claiming that Israel took their land, and that was their debate. That was their point right there. Like, this little speck compared to all of this, and they're mad. I don't get that. I've seen people flip out off of missing $20 on their check. It's just $20. $20 that they could have easily spent at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? That's $20 they could have easily just spent on a bag of weed. But it was their $20. You see what I'm saying? That check, that company shorted them $20. $20 that could have easily just, once they had it, went right back in the middle of nowhere. Could have went to oblivion. They could have burnt it for all they cared. But it was their $20 that was owed to them. People break in your house and steal nothing more than an ashtray. It was just an ashtray. It's the fact that it was my ashtray. You came into my home and took my stuff. The fact that you're going, oh my God, look at how much land they're complaining about. That means what? But what you do understand is they're saying, yeah, we know how Israel became Israel 70-something years ago. Like, somebody just went and go, hey, and we'll give you guys this land. And people are like, but we're here. Oh, we'll move y'all out the way. Y'all, don't worry about it, y'all good. That's what it is. That's what it was. Let's not act like that part of history didn't exist. And that's really, at the end of the day, what the thing is. America has always had a weird history. Not just America. The Europeans have had a weird history. Israel was just another added situation. The act as if we have no understanding on the reasoning there is an issue alone is an issue. It's always been an issue. It's always been one of those, it happened, get over it, keep it moving. And how dare you guys still be mad? That's how it's always been. So they set it off with a whole bunch of stuff about the Israel thing. And the tough talk starts there. We told them, get them, kill them, do whatever you want to do, get it popping. Get them and kill them. Grab them, destroy whoever you need to. That's what you got to do. The prime minister is old enough to know the history. He's like 74. The history of the situation is about, 75? So he's old enough to know the history. These young people around here, the Hamas people, they don't know the history. The people fighting on behalf of Israel, as far as the Israel soldiers, they don't know. And I said it before, these are the times where you need the youth to try to figure out a way to come together with a common ground and squash this and build, because the older heads aren't going to allow it. They're the ones still holding the grudge. If the younger generation can come together and go, let's squash this, let's figure out what to do. Forget all the business transactions that are going on over here. Forget all the political transactions that are going on over here. Forget all the outside influence that wants to continuously see us combating against each other going on over there, and become something. Work out a deal. Let's build together. Vote people out of office in Israel and Palestine. Move those people out the way and bring in new people who are willing to work together with these two countries, for these two countries, and let's get it going. They'll be assassinated, first of all. I'm sorry. All those people that I'm talking about trying to come together will be assassinated. I know this. But what I'm saying is, that's what you need. You need that. And I'm not saying that it's probably never happened. What I'm saying is, that's what needs to be done. Those people need to figure out a way to galvanize a following, a group of people, take to social media and build. And what happens is, once you see that, oh, there's people willing to build with each other, there's a generation of people willing to build with each other versus go against each other, that takes over. That becomes the news. That becomes the focus. That's the feel-good story that the news might wants to wink act as if they're part of and want to be part of, but they don't, because we build and come. We live off of war. The primaries told you how many people are dealing weapons, who supplies what ingredients for weapons. There was really nothing peaceful. There's war against these Mexican cartels. I know y'all done seen the joint where DeSantis is like, he wants to make them, put them as terrorists, and we wants to kill everybody and yada. You got that. They want to destroy and kill stuff over here in China. You know what I'm saying? That's all that was about. Again, that was a think tank of just ultra violence and extreme. Just let's take things to the most extreme. Nothing was very productive. There was no productive talk about any. There was nothing productive being said. And it's crazy because there was times where actually all the questions kind of leaned towards nothing to be productively said. It was, hey, how do you feel about this? Hey, what would you do about that? Even when, and they threw a curveball apparently. There was a close around to the end. They threw a curveball and was like, hey, in the short term, how do you deal with inflation? How do you make things affordable for the American public? What do you do? Everybody was lost. People wanted to frack. People wanted to get these natural resources going. Everybody wanted to, and it's like, that's cool, but that's not like now. That's like in a 6-month period, what do you do? Nobody knew what to do. They've been so busy talking about being destructive that the concept of or having to find a way to not be as destructive, that they actually just come up with a constructive, unifying, helping manner, come up with some type of resolution to be beneficial to people. They couldn't even do it. They had nothing going. Nobody had an idea what to do. Nobody. What are you gonna do about Social Security? They're like, would you raise the age? Yeah. Why? How? What would that do for now? What is that going to do for the long run? And I think it might have been Wampy. I don't like that dude. So if you're thinking to yourself, why is he saying that wrong? I'm purposely saying it wrong. I think it's him who said something about they'd actually have money if the government wasn't taking from it, which is what the government was doing during the 80s and the 90s and a little bit of the 2000s, actually taking money from that to divert it to something else. Which, by the way, if you really want to look at it and go, hey, look at all this money we have in the defense budget, take a little bit, when I say a little bit, $1 million or so, and throw it over there. Easily, because that's what we've been doing anyway. We've been taking money from one place and putting it somewhere else anyway, as a country. So you could do that. Don't act like it can't be done. It could be done. Just grab a little bit and toss it over there. But again, the other side of it is too, the program is in shambles because there's no money being made. There's no money being made because there's no living wage. There you go. And there lies the issues of everything. Wages have to be raised. Nobody wants to do that. They didn't even talk about education and wages or any of that stuff. Like I said, that the Social Security thing and inflation was a curveball. Everything Wednesday night was basically warmongering stuff. What are you going to do about our Navy? Are people really still trying to join the military? Are people with the expectation that they will go to war? Is that really a thing? Are people really willing to make that move? They're out here trying to calculate numbers, and we'll need this many soldiers for this much, and we'll need this much money for that because we'll need this many ships, and we'll have to do it this way, and we'll be there to defend them that way. They went to war against TikTok. Everybody wants to ban TikTok and because China's doing this and doing that and the third. Like it's a bad influence to the kids. Social media is a bad influence to the kids. And I think it might have been Wompity Womp Womp who even said it's not just them, it's everybody. And that's the thing. There's no real difference between TikTok and any of them. They're all the same thing. They're all selling off your joints. What was it? We learned after Trump got in office how conniving Facebook was. Nobody called for Facebook to be shut down. See how that went? See how that goes? Nobody called for Facebook to be shut down. Ta-da. So when you go at TikTok, that's what it looks like. It looks like you just picking on TikTok because it's from China. Like, don't act like the rest of these joints aren't just as bad. Don't act like when you do the little face things and all of these and all of that stuff, that it's not going, oh, by the way, now that you do that, we are into your phone. We will be going through your stuff. We're here. It says to allow you to do it. You can easily go, don't allow, and then it won't happen. But you allow it and it will happen. That's the game. That's the way the world works on that. They went at TikTok. They were going in at a lot of joints. And again, you had the black dude, and I can't think of his name right now, and I could be very cool and just look it up, but I don't care about the dude that much to worry about it. He's quoting Bible joints. He's making references, and it's like, yo, B, we're not a Christian country. We were not founded as a Christian country. Who is losing their history on this? Like, you realize history is very lenient. Apparently, we're very cool with fabricating history. That was one of the first things you were taught as a kid. America was never a Christian country. There were really no Christians, you know what I'm saying, going around. Like Thomas Jefferson. And I've seen Christians brag about the Thomas Jefferson Bible. I'm like, he was such a Christian, he even made his own Bible. No, that's not how that went. He thought it was so full of BS that he actually made his own Bible and took out the stuff he thought really was useless. It's how that went. It wasn't because he was like, let me make it in a certain way for you. Like I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for all the crazy alien stuff that goes on with it, this whole country would be Mormons. If you didn't have the crazy alien stuff attached to Mormonism, and I'm not even gonna say the women thing. That's not the polygamy thing. Nah, I'm not even gonna. Nah. It's the aliens. You take away that crazy alien thing, this country could have easily just been Mormon. Jesus was what born in Smithfield, Missouri somewhere. Yeah, this country could have easily been that. The transition would have been boom. Just that simple. Like, yeah, we'll do. I mean, it's still Jesus and all that. We'll just be like, we won't acknowledge Thomas Smith so much, John Smith so much. Was it John Smith? We won't acknowledge John Smith as much. We'll just keep it moving with the story, though, about it being here in America. We won't do that, though. But also, you also got to realize that Christianity is global, so all the other Christians around the world would have been like, what are they reading? That clearly is not that is clearly not the Bible that we're reading. So that also could have been a reason why I didn't go that far. Now that I think about it, never mind. Anyway, this was just, and they just built on top of each other. And to add on to what he said, he has a great idea. She had a great idea. And you know what? I'll take it one step further. And it was just a team building moment because they took that shellacking Tuesday that they couldn't avoid. And that's why when the part of abortion came up, that was where the real debate hit. Because you saw out of these 5 people, one was still trying to be completely extremist, and that's wompa womp womp. The second one was trying to use the Bible, that's the black guy. DeSantis was going, I agree with what you guys are doing, but please don't tell me that we can't do it this way. Nikki Haley's been saying the same thing she's been saying since the beginning. Chris Christie switched up his thing, and he's like, hey, Republicans even voted to get that. So we really need to probably stop and rethink on how to do this, renegotiate, try to figure out a better way to do this, because it's not like it was all Democrat voters who voted for that. Republican voters also made that decision and was like, yeah, what we came up with was a little too extreme. We're going to go with this. Because life is life at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's against not wanting to kill babies. It's the extreme measures that you place on it that people are like, that's wild. I don't know about that. I think that's the thing. That's what's wrong with the Republican Party. They don't understand that as you become a man or a woman, you meet people. You meet people of diverse paths. You meet people who have different aspects of you. Work people, neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Friends. As you know what I'm saying, your children, childhood friends, as you grow up, your paths differ, and their journey becomes different. And when people tell you those stories, because these are people that you know, care for, loved, you feel there's empathy there, there's sympathy there. You listen a lot faster than you will when it's some random stranger on social media saying something stupid. You know what I'm saying? And that's always been not an American thing, but a human thing. When you put a human face to it, when it's someone that you're invested in as a person telling you something, it becomes a different thing. Now you got to rethink the way you look at it. Because like, yo, this happened to my mans. Yo, this happened to Shorty. I'm cool with them. Like, yo, that's messed up how that happened. I always felt like, yo, I told people, Dick Cheney was real gangster on gay people. You know, my daughter gay, she a lesbian. Like, she had a child, all that talk from him stopped. All of a sudden, he was like, she's one of the best women in the world. She will be a great mother. They're great parents. She started to go into politics. She'll be a great whatever she's going to be. He's out here endorsing her. Why? Because he got to hold his grandchild. That takes everything away. Obama, when that race thing joint was jumping off, when all that racial stuff was jumping off, and Obama was like, yo, my grandmother would talk crazy about black people, how much she didn't like them, and this, and the third, but loved me. So to love me, as time went on, because I was black and I moved as a black man, that softened her up. That's what happens in life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that goes back to the Israeli thing. These new generations of younger people come up and go, you know what? I ain't gonna get caught up in all of this beef. I'm gonna figure out a way to talk to somebody from on the other side, and we're gonna come up with a solution. The parents of those children are going to be like, what? And then when they start sitting there and seeing that it's working, they're going to have their back on it. Those neighbors are going to be like, oh, cool. Now you have everybody looking to go, all right. Why? Because it starts out as that's somebody that they love doing something that's bigger than them. And it's going to just blossom. And it spreads. Now, again, like I said, somebody going to slide through and assassinate somebody or cause some type of friction and dissent. That's going to happen. That's going to just be what it is. But it's going to happen. And I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure it has happened multiple times. It's the same thing that happened during the Civil Rights Movement. When you had these young white kids who didn't understand what the beef was. They're like, yo, I love this music. I love the vibe. I love everything. You know what I'm saying? When we're driving past segregated areas, these people look just like the white people. They're just black. There's people working. There's kids playing in yards. There's happiness. There's sadness. I don't get what the beef about. What's the issue? Why can't we work out together? What's the problem? I know my granddad hates them, which now my dad hates them. I don't see what the hate is. What's the problem? And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And the politics with abortion is that. That's what's happening. People are growing. People are meeting people. People know people. And they're like, yo. And I think DeSantis was like, yeah. And the reason like Nikki Haley has her thing. And he's like, yeah. I knew there was a Jamaican mother who was told to she was too poor to have kids, and she did it anyway, and I hired her on, and she works with me, and you know what I'm saying, and boom. It's like, okay. That's dope. Matter of fact, that's dope, and that's a noble story. The problem is, that's not how a lot of abortions even work anyway. It's not about I was too broke to have my kid. A lot of it is, I'm just out here doing what I do. Ooh, I can't afford to have a kid. My bad. I'm not going to have no kid. And then then after I heal up, I'm going to hit the streets again and do it again. Those are the people that y'all should be targeting. Those people. The Kentuckys from the Orange is the New Black. That just was like, I did it. Oops, I did it again. I guess I'll have to go to the abortion clinic. I'm not going to have this baby. Them people, those people should be locked up. Those people should be sterilized. Those people, you know what I'm saying? Those people, because we all know people who have had one night stands and went on and had their kids. So the Jamaican thing, that sounds, like I said, that's a great story. That's a story of any hood. That's a story of any place of poverty. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Duh. Let's not make that some crazy light, extreme thing. Nah, no, sorry. You want to show me something? Show me where like the doctor was like, this might not be a good pregnancy. The way this look, you might lose your life. Are you sure you want to do this? You could die. The baby could die. Are you sure you want to do this? And I said yes. And then look what happened. Her child is over here doing this, that, and the third. Ta-da! Sometimes you gotta take those chances. Don't just give in. That's a better story than somebody was broke, which by the way had to be Jamaican, which by the way had to be black, which just feeds into the stereotype, which is so cliche. All parties go to extremes. Everybody wants to go to the extreme left about incest, rape in general, complications. Then there's a whole nother group of people that are like, there's just people just feel like they're trapped and there's no way to get by, so they have to have. Okay, well, you guys, both sides have totally ignored the hoochie mamas out here just rocking and popping and getting it going, get pregnant and go, oh, I ain't gonna have this baby, bloop bloop. Wait it out and get back into the mood all over again and be out here rocking and popping and dropping and then it happen again, bloop bloop. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody wants to acknowledge that that's a thing, because if you do, then it just seems weird, because then, crazy enough, you have to put a face to that. And who wants, and where do you put that face at? How do you make that a thing? Do you make that a woman of color? Or do you make that a white woman? Do you make that an attractive woman? Do you make that a young woman? Do you make that a teen? That becomes the thing. That becomes the thing. So they go to these side extremes versus what is probably more of a thing, and that's I'm just out here being promiscuous and just jumping and getting it going, and got pregnant. I ain't had no baby. Boom. There you go. That's that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows people in that situation than they do. People don't really know a lot of people who were like, yeah, I was about to have me an incest baby. People don't know the people like that for real. You rarely meet somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? People who go, yeah, I was going to have complications. That's a rarity. But she was out here getting it in and then popped up with a baby, was like, nah, I ain't gonna, and boom. Not even on a thing where as parents they were sitting there going, I don't think we're ready for this kid. What are we gonna do? Like, we have no job. We stay with our parents. You know what I'm saying? The money ain't right. We're gonna be bringing another mouth into this world, a whole nother soul into this world. Can we afford this child? No, because that's not a thing. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. That is a thing that happens. What I'm saying is, those are the people. That's the reality. Those are the relationships that people are voting on. That's the actual relationship people vote on. That thing where people are like, I don't think we could afford this kid. You know what I'm saying? Should we take that chance? Those people should be allowed to explore those possibilities, sad to say. But that couple should be allowed to explore those possibilities. So they lost the vote on abortion. And now all of a sudden they're in the negotiation form. They're trying to figure out what is the right layout to at least get what we want to happen with abortion to happen. And Wampa Wampy was like, nah, we ain't settling for nothing. DeSantis is like, nah, we ain't settling for nothing. This is our country. They debated for 2 hours. And it was just the most chest out, go to war, we fighting anybody, we're shooting everything, we hate everything, everybody's the enemy. So negative that when they were asked to do something positive, they couldn't figure it out. And my man was just like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And the finger pointing was everybody had dirt on everybody, as always. But the debate is crazy. And they started off by saying, by the way, Trump is still ahead of everybody. He needs to come to the debate. Nah, he doesn't. He doesn't need to come to the debates because he's ahead of everybody. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna try to out-Trump Trump? There was a wrestler. I can't think of this dude's name. There was a wrestler, and I can see him. I can see him in my face. I can't think of the dude's name. Buddy Rogers. Buddy Landell. There we go. That's what that is. You guys want Trump to come to the debate, and y'all are gonna try to out-Trump Trump when you guys are all Buddy Landells. If you're a wrestling fan, you might know what I'm talking about. If you do, you don't. Buddy Landell, I remember, and thanks to Peacock, because I'm watching old NWA stuff on Peacock, and there was an episode And I went to the kitchen. I come back, and I see a bleach blonde dude take off the robe. He's got the strut. And I'm thinking it's Ric Flair. I'm like, yo, man, Ric Flair looked crazy back in them days. I'm just watching this joint. I don't got the sound on. I'm listening to music, watching wrestling. And then he put the figure 4 on. I'm like, yo, this is wild. Then they put the close-up on the dude. I'm like, who is this dude? Yo. What? Nah. What? I was lost. And then I listened to this dude. He thought, I grew up around dudes who used to do the Ric Flair impression. Salute to all the kids who used to be on their Ric Flair game back in the day when we was growing up. So I know a Ric Flair, like, dressed like the dude. Had the finishing move, the figure 4, like the dude. Was out here chopping. Did the styling, profiling, strut in the ring. Bleach blonde, pushed the hair back and all that. I'm like, yo. Went on YouTube and found that there was a match where they wrestled each other. And they literally were doing the Ric Flair or the Buddy Landel, depending on who you ask, but in my mind, Ric Flair. And that's what these dudes want. They want Trump to come so they can put on their best Trump impression in front of Trump and get outclassed. Because Trump is going to outclass these dudes. And I get it. Trump now has a record to stand on. He has something to stand on. You can actually judge him as a politician. You're not going to make him look like a fool. Because then he's going to just start rocking audibles and start just saying random stuff, and you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost. He's going to start saying stuff that you're not prepared for, because you can't prepare for this dude because he's Trump. There's a lot of other adjectives and euphemisms I could have used, but I'm going to just keep it at Trump. He's Trump. You're not going to out-Trump Trump. You know, whoppy, you're not going to do it. DeSantis, you're not going to do it. You're not going to, yeah. And the common sense angle that Nikki Haley and Chris Christie would love to try to take, that ain't going to work. That's not going to work. So you're lost. Stop asking this man to come through. It's not going to happen. He's going to, and then this is the thing, I don't even know if it sets a precedent, but he's going to be somebody who is going to run away with this, which he is already ahead without even being part of the debates. He's going to be the presidential nominee for the Republicans and not even have to go through all this. He'll be leading. There's still the whole thing at the RNC where you have to actually say it, and people are gonna go, forget it, Trump. He's gonna beat Biden this time. Trump. Why? Because you still got people like Wampa Wampa still trying to convince the world that he won and it was a setup. That's how extreme he is. My man is. You know, like he is going for that group, but that group still has the actual real deal. So that's why when people go, how do you think he can't? Trump is still making moves. Trump is still ahead. He's not going to get those voters because he's still here. Until Trump goes, I'm out. Then they might shift their direction and go, well, he thinks like Trump. Let's ride with him. Or DeSantis. But they're going to cancel each other out. At the end of the day, they're going to cancel each other out. And that's going to lead up. One of them going to have to take the fall. And I think it'll be Wampa Wamp. And it's going to be DeSantis, most likely Chris Christie, Trump. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the Republicans really taking Nikki Haley serious. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to take her serious. So it's going to be DeSantis, Chris Christie, Trump. And Trump's going to just demolish them. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. He's going to demolish them. You're not going to beat this dude. That's how they set it off. They were like, yo, he's ahead. I wish he was here. You don't really want that. You don't really want that. He's going to outshine you. He's going to make everything that you do the whole talk is going to be about him. You don't want that. Stop. Go ahead. Stop playing. Try to win these. Try to make a name for yourself. Try to make sure that you have a spot in the game, and do you. You trying to get this guy to come through like, oh yeah, and then we'll do it. Nah. You don't want that. You don't want. Trust me with that. This is what we got going on. These Republican primary debates are crazy. This is the third one, fourth one, third or fourth, third, right? Third. They're just wild. And they haven't gotten better. There hasn't been a point, like the only thing that has happened this time is the yelling across wasn't there. And that's because it's only 5 people now. That's it. They're still just as extreme after the loss. And I think that was what has Wampa Wampi and DeSantis heated. They're heated. They're like, yo, we look like losers Tuesday night. Nah, we ain't gonna go with that. And like I said, the one time they really debated was over abortion, where there was some people going, no, I'm not leaving off of my point. I'm not gonna sit around and try to like negotiate and somehow water it down. Nah, I'm standing on this right here. This is how I feel about it. It is what it is. What? If y'all ain't seen it, please go watch it. It's the craziest thing. It's wild. Thank y'all for listening. We'll get back into our regular scheduled stuff. What happened was a Saturday, a lot of malfunctions jumped off, and Wednesday had mic issues, so we just let the music play. Let the music play. I did not know that was a black woman. I don't know. I just figured it was like it's wild because what's another one? Take Me to Funky Town. I didn't know there was black women. I saw the video for that joint. I was like, yo, these black chicks. I thought those was white women. The Pointer Sisters, the Automatic. Growing up, I thought that was Culture Club. My mama had that record. And for whatever reason, I guess I never looked at the record. I just assumed it was Culture Club. Sure, they sound like a dude. I don't know the words, and plus if you say the words, they'll probably try to strip you and stripe you and throw you off the joint. So the humming is what we do. But I really thought that was Culture Club. I thought that was Boy George. As a kid, I just figured that was Boy George. Like, yo, this Culture Club joint popping, yo. My mama love this joint. Okay. What? Automatic, yo. Yo. Black women. Did not know. Thank you, Google. Anyway. Yeah, man. I let the music play. Matter of fact, I thought that was the same chick from the. I don't know the words of none of these joints. The end of what am I to do? Yo. Anyway, man. Yo, get ready to hit up. I'm flashbacking through all of these old music joints in my head. Bugging that I did not know that all of these people were who they were. And just like, yo, this is crazy. Stacey Lattisaw and Johnny Gill were young teens out here sounding like grown men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like grown men and women. Young Johnny Gill, Stacey Lattisaw, and just wow. And Stacey Lattisaw looked younger too. Like Looking at Stacey Lattisaw as she was singing as a kid, it's just, ugh. It's like, yo, she literally looked like she should have been like on an episode of Webster's Girlfriend at some point. That's how young she looked. Like Johnny Gill just looked like he was just a young dude, but he was still, like, he sound like a grown man. Like when they be talking about like, yes, so-and-so's teacher and had sex with her students, you'd expect it to be like Johnny Gill. Like Johnny Gill was sounding like a grown man. Come here, girl, you don't want. He was 12. He sound like Teddy Pendergrass at 12. Like, yo, that's what happens. She was like, he came in the classroom singing some stuff. Turn off the light. Johnny, Mom, I'll meet you after class. Johnny like, what? Friends are like, what? You ain't allowed to sing in class no more? I don't know. And then whatever happened. That's what you expect them to look like, be like Johnny Gill. Like, have something that made you go, you know what I mean? I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. Stacey Lattisaw, though, that's just a whole nother thing. And then when she got older, it just was like, ugh. I saw the unsung joint on her. I was just like, ugh. Like, yeah, that won't it. Like, yo, Johnny, you might have lucked up on that, son. Like, yeah, I heard the whole joint was her parents ain't want to get with you because you was a dark-skinned brother, but you lucked up on that one, man. You might have saved yourself on that one. This won't it. This did not pan out well. This didn't work out right. I saw her picture, like when she was just talking and she was just like, yeah. I was like, nah, she ain't really that attractive right now. Like, this is, yuck. And that's how you gotta do it sometimes. You ever see chicks and they walk by, you go, yuck. And they look at you and you be looking at them, and you got that look on your face like, how? Why? Ugh. And you can't tell them nothing. Because these dudes is gassing everybody up. And that's why I'm telling people. Because dudes really are out here thinking it's a war, by the way, fools. I know I was about to leave, but I gotta say this. Fellas, I'm gonna say this every time. I gotta tell you, you gotta say stuff like this every chance you get. Fellas, when these chicks are out here talking about what they expect and what they want, and da-da-da-da-da-da, please note that it has already happened multiple times. What they're telling you is this is what they're accustomed to, because some fool who has no spit game, some fool who has no real self-respect, no confidence, only thing he could do was to spoil her with material objects, has now spoiled her with that mentality. She is now accustomed to that. Because if you've never had it happen and you go, this is what I want, and dudes check you on it, like, girl, you tripping, man. I don't even know you like that to be doing what with you and taking you where? Oh, nah, you out your mind. You tripping. It becomes negotiable. Well, what are you trying to do? Oh, nah, we ain't doing all that. Fools have already done it. I'm from around the way. I'm from the 90s. Dudes in the 90s were rhyming that way. They got the money and then they about to spoil these chicks. Hey, girl, won't you come with me? I got this. Forget your man. He ain't got this kind of money like I got. What you need to do is get with me. He a loser. Roll with me. Look at all this. Look at what I drive. Look at where I can take you. Look at what I can do for you. I don't even know you. I don't know what you're accustomed to. I don't know if you're even validated to be placed in these sort of outings, because you can't take everybody everywhere. Trust me on that. There's some women they're not just women, there's some people you can't take to these super duper fancy, I'm talking about the restaurants where you have to make the reservations weeks in advance for that day. You know what I'm saying? And that's how and here's the wild part. You can tell these chicks who do that talking, they ain't never been with a man like that. They ain't never been with a dude in that situation, because that's a long time to wait for a first date. Oh yeah, I just met you. Yo, maybe we should go out sometime. Well, when you trying to go out and they pull up the phone, call up a nice restaurant. Hey, y'all, when's your next available opening? This is November? Yes. Our next available opening might be like in March. Well, place me in a spot during March. How I know I'm gonna be around you around March? They ain't ready for that. They're not built for that. They can't be built for that. They're not prepared for that. These Airbnbs and all this stuff and all of these crazy budgets to get you from here to there and enjoy yourself, this makes them think they're ready for that. They're not really ready for that real experience. The experience that they claim that they're ready for, that's a whole different thing. That is a whole different scenario. To be sitting at home and to have them people call you, hey, we'll have a table for you in 30 minutes. Will you be ready? And you can go, no. Okay. Well, right now we're still doing this and this. I still have to get dressed. I still have to shower and get dressed and get ready to go. Give me about 2 hours. Okay, cool. We'll call you in 30 minutes for that 30 minutes before that 2 hour, before that window opens. We'll call you. Thank you. Boom. That gives you enough time to holler at your shorty. Hey, in about 2 hours or so, we're going to go to the restaurant. What you mean? We going, huh? Yeah, I told you. We're going to go out tonight. Are you just going to wait about 2 hours? Because that's when the restaurant will have that. They called me. Oh, they ain't ready for that. They ain't going to know what to do for that. They don't know what to do for that. You know what I'm saying? Like these rappers got them thinking that these hustlers who go to these joints and these events and they're like, yeah, I'm about that. Or they go out on a girls trip and they go, yeah, we about that. That's still not on a certain level. That's still not a certain level. That's still not a level. That's still a thing where where the menu's in a foreign language and there's no English. You know what I'm saying? They ain't ready for that. They ain't built for that. You know what I'm saying? They out here huffing and puffing about the Cheesecake Factory. One chick was like, I just don't want to be in a chain. You're not going to be ready for a lot of these joints. You're going to go to one of these nice little quaint spots in the cut and not be ready for that. Because they going to charge you whatever they want to charge you. And you're going to be mad. And that's worse than going, oh, I didn't like the food. Because you weren't ready for that. Or I ain't never had none of this before. What is this? You ain't ready for that. You don't want that Cheesecake Factory. You don't want the chain restaurant joint, but you're not ready for this right here. Well, I mean, what did you want? Because don't get it twisted. There's some soul food spots that are just as exclusive and expensive as whatever you think. So yeah. And then you're going to be sitting around here mad. Like, oh, now you know what I'm saying? Like this mac and cheese won't that good. It's the ambiance. Got the band playing in the background. You got this going on here. You got this going on there. You know what I'm saying? They pulling out the expensive wines. This is what you're paying for. It's what you're paying for. The food sometimes is so bottom of the line. Nobody cares about the food at all. Everything else is going on is where your focus is supposed to be. Whether or not the food is good, that's optional. But what happens is you get these dudes who be out here, again, uncomfortable with themselves, who have no game, who have nothing to say, who have nothing to present other than the money, and you've spoiled these women. And a lot of these women, from when I see them, I'm just like, yo, a lot of these chicks ain't even attractive. Like, they're not even popping. You got regular chicks who will be like, beautiful. Yo, I'll walk with you around the boardwalk, eating a Nathan hot dog, chilling, having a nice conversation as a date. Because that's the concept of a date, to get to know you. Why would I spend a lot of money to get to know you? I can get to know you on the phone. I can get to know you and just meet up with you somewhere and chop it up here and there. Like, the concept of getting to know someone is now a paid process. And then you wonder why a lot of these chicks are still single. If I have to pay to get to know you, we'll never be together. Because right now you're just open for, you're on the market. Well, they're going to take me here to get to know me. They're going to pay for this and this and this to get to know me. I'm not going to really invest in trying to be with someone. I'm cool with this part of the process. Where you go with that? And that goes back to even with the debate. And they're talking about how we need to have soldiers. How you going to get soldiers? People aren't, there's a generation that is not prepared to really be committed to anything. What are you going to do? Who's going to war? We're not going to go. We're going to lose any war we're in because we don't have the people. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Ta-da. Where you going to go? These relationships are going to be trash. Joe Smith is running around here huffing and puffing for a chick that he knew how she was, and she went back to being that because his money slowed up. He's mad. You knew what you was getting into. These dudes, and that's what, and the thing is, she'll go right back and she'll hit the joint and be with somebody else who's this, and the third, because that's what they're accustomed to. It's the game. You don't get mad at these chicks. You get mad at the fact that there were dudes at some point that couldn't present authenticity, so they had to throw everything else in the mix. Women became obsessed with that. It is what it is. And these women understand that there'll be a hotter chick that comes through and they're going to lose focus on me, but I got what I got out of it. And keep it pushing, because there's going to be another sucker around the corner. Because that's what they are. Dudes are suckers. Anyway, I done hated on dudes, because I always feel like I'm hating on chicks when I talk about stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's really the dude's fault for women being that way. I just wanted to put it out there in the air. Anyway, since this is one of those episodes, bonus type episodes, whatever, y'all know we ain't got the little clip or anything. This is it. So I gotta hit y'all off with the joint. They say you only live once. That's a lie. You only die once. So anytime that your God allows you to get out here and continue your journey, please show the world the best version of you. Y'all be safe. Peace.
This is a Soul of Art presentation.